What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Nightmares Podcast, where we talk about all things horror, and we now exclusively interview people from the horror community. We talk to people who are into horror movies, music. Today's guest, and then also stores from a time gone by, unfortunately. But we're going to talk about it today. Of course, I have my partner in crime, Mr. Zachary Smith, is here.
What's up?
And we, of course, have Ian Luman, who I'm going to let introduce. And he is a good friend of a friend, directly connected with Corey Clark, a.k.a. Poltergeist OD. Go ahead, sir, and introduce yourself.
Hey, everyone. My name is Ian Luman, and I work at the last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. And I also make music, a lot of different kinds, from death metal to horror beats, synthwave, deep, like trance tech stuff. And that's pretty much what I do now. I'm saturated in movies at work all day, and I come home and I surround myself with horror and music during my evenings. So this is obviously, I don't have a lot in this particular room, but I got a lot of stuff around the house. So yeah.
Very nice. And then your producer name is kind of unique as well. What's your producer name?
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out just something kind of silly, and I always love blood squibs. They're just my favorite. Homie's death in RoboCop is like one of my favorite death scenes of all time in any movie. I forgot his name, but poor dude just gets obliterated. And so I was like, Squibb. I like Squibb. Squibb's a good name, so I decided to go with Squibb. And as a joke, one of my buddies in a band I was in at the time was like, "You should be DJ Squibb." And I was like, "Yeah, DJ Squibb." And then I just started posting stuff under that. And then I couldn't really think of anything else that I liked. So it kind of like lends itself to horror, being the name of the blood thing that pops out when you get shot.
So, all right. So I normally ask a question of is when did horror enter your life? But I think I really want to know, one question first, because I kind of want to get it out of the way because I'm very excited, is when did Blockbuster enter your life? Because you, sir, are working at the last Blockbuster on the face of the earth, and I got to hear about that. And I can't remember if I saw you in the documentary. I don't know. You may have been hanging out in the back.
Yes.
But I want to hear I want to hear how this entered your life and how you started working at the very last Blockbuster and talk about your experience.
Yeah, so I worked in a video store in the late 90s, right out of high school, called Video Choice in the Central Coast of California. Always been a movie guy, always been a movie kid. My mom's like, "Oh, ask this guy, he knows all about movies." And I was that kid in the family. But I just started cooking. I fell into like a line cook job after that, and I was fairly decent at working in a kitchen, taking orders and just kind of understanding cooking. So I did that for like 20 years, almost about 19 years. And then the pandemic happened, and I decided to move from where I was to where I had some family, which is right outside of Bend, Oregon. And so we moved up here last November, and I was like, wait a minute, isn't the last Blockbuster up here? Because we watched the documentary on Netflix. My wife's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking try to get a job there. I don't want to cook anymore. And so I walked in there, and I was like, went through my shirts, because I buy nothing but Cavity Colors, Creeporama, Fright Rags, Gutter Garbs. Those are all my shirts. So I was like going through, and I'm like, Aliens, that's a good one. So I put that one on so I could like look like I'm a movie guy, when I walked in there. And I just walked up to the manager, Dan, and I said, "Hey, do you guys need any help?" And he's like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, 39. And he's like, "Sweet, dude." He's like, "I'm 37. He's like, "You're hired." And he's like, "You're the old now."
That's such a fucking like West Coast thing to do. It's like, yeah, man, that's cool. Like, let's do it.
The kids that work at Blockbuster with us, they're a special kind of Generation Z person, right? These are not, they're just not your average kid. They're kind of outsiders. They're fringe, and I really like them. They're great. So I work with like an 18-year-old. So I'm like 22 years older than this girl. God. And for Christmas this year, I got her a Reanimator Blu-ray Arrow.
Posters right over here. The poster is right. Reanimator posters right over here.
Yeah, so I mean that's what she wanted, and so I'm like, wow, this is great. Like, it was the pandemic. I wasn't really hanging out with too many people. I was just hanging out with my wife, and we were doing our thing. And I don't really hang out with too many young people, and so it was really nice to get a real introduction to like the next generation of movie fans and stuff. And we were just kind of clicking on all kinds of stuff. And but I'm the oldest one that works there at 40. So it's crazy. And the Dan, the manager, is like, I'm so glad that like I have someone I can relate, like we can talk about all kinds of stuff now. And I'm like, yeah, dude, for sure. And so the past year, every Monday we go to his house and watch a new horror film together. So Mondays is Monday movie night at Dan's house. And we've knocked out a ton of movies. I showed him for the first time Lord of Illusions. He'd never seen that. And he's a big Clive Barker fan.
Nice.
Like, dude, you gotta see Lord of Illusions. And so all kinds of cool movies like that. And I think next week we're watching Videodrome.
Oh, nice. Great movie.
Dude, that sounds like such a good time. Like, normally the idea of working maybe at like a... that just sounds so fucking awesome.
It is. It's great. Like me and my wife worked really hard, and we could never really afford a house in California. So that's another reason why we came up here. So I have this place now, and we have a really good mortgage. And excuse me. And it's not like I have to work. It's not like I rely on music for any kind of income at all. My income comes from literally the coolest fucking job I've ever had, working at the last Blockbuster. And I actually get paid almost what I was getting paid at the height of cooking.
Wow.
I won't like disclose, but I'm like, wow, this is fucking amazing. This is great.
Dude,
And
that's amazing.
I mean,
yeah.
You're living like the life that like Tarantino talked about, like, you know, like working at a fucking video store and shit and bullshitting about movies. You're living Clerks, bro. Like,
dude, I straight up am. I am a clerk. Like, and it was so funny because it used to be such working at a video store in your 40s in the 80s or 90s would have been seen as kind of what the hell. But now people are like, dude, you're lucky. And I'm like, I know.
You're going on podcasts to talk about it.
I'm old enough now for a job that I had when I was in my late teens was like a loser ass job. And now it's come full circle to be like, dude, that is a fucking sweet job.
It's essentially a one of a kind job these days. It's and it's strange how that happened. Like now it's just like, oh yeah, I work at the last Blockbuster. Holy shit, that's fucking awesome. Man, that's cool.
Yeah, dude, I mean, like,
dude,
go ahead.
We get like prank calls. We get prank calls all the time. Like you don't, because of TikTok and the movie and the show, people call and then just hang up. People call and they say, dude, for real, I just want to know if this was like legit, man. And I'm like, yeah, dude, we're real. It exists. This is reality. And he's like, all right, have a good one. I'm like,
dude, by the way, do you get the old Blockbuster prank? This is almost a slightly legendary story. People when the mini series of It came on to VHS, they would call Blockbusters and be like, "Hey, do you got It in?" They like, do you have it in? Like, they literally do that all the time.
Dude, I have my VHS of the It miniseries that I taped on ABC when it aired. I have it still.
Nice. Shit. Love it.
The commercials on there are almost better than the show itself. It's awesome. I have the Tommyknockers, the Stand, and the Langoliers. I have all those on the VHS when I originally taped them on ABC.
Fucking Langoliers, man. What? Dude, I remember I watched that and I'm like, what in the fucking 90s sci-fi special effects bullshit is going on here? They and literally like they're like, yeah, we know we're in a different dimension because the soda is flat. Like, what? What the fuck is going on?
Well, and the guy from Perfect Strangers, Benson Pinchon or whatever his name is. Dude, yeah. He goes for it. He goes so hard in that shit. In that
dude.
Series.
And then like they're literally like walking, and like they literally walk down the like at the very end. There's a shot of all of them like walking out like down the hallway, like it's a fucking Law and Order episode, and they're taking up the whole hallway, and it's like a sitcom ending. They're all like like I'm waiting for like the Friends or Frasier theme to start playing when they're walking down the fucking thing. It's almost. It's almost it's almost as much out of left field as the fucking ending credits of Predator.
Yeah, dude, for sure. The it's almost like when they're walking out, you'd expect a line like, maybe like we were the Langoliers all the
Can we talk about the name Langoliers for a second? Like I love that fucking name. It's so ridiculous. It's What does that even mean? Langoliers. It's such an adorably stupid, hilarious fucking name.
Adorably
and that
stupid
sounds like
is a good answer.
the most AAA B movie name you could come up with. The Langoliers. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is a Langolier?
And this
that
is when,
sounds hilarious. I gotta see it.
And
it's fucking hysterical how stupid it is.
And this is when Stephen King was sober. Like, this isn't Maximum Overdrive era. Like, you know, this is like after when he was sober. This is after the van hit and he had plenty of time to recover. Like, this is like it. You know, I really think, okay, I'm going to leave it at this and then we can move on. But like, there's a great sketch by Eddie Murphy from Eddie Murphy Raw when he was talking about the ice cream truck running away, you know, driving away from them. And like, and he's like, I bet he was in the car with his buddies going, but like, let me show you how fast I can make these motherfuckers run. Because he always just going extra black. That's what I'm thinking that Stephen King is thinking half the time. Like when he wrote like The Mangler about like an evil fucking washing machine. I'm thinking like, he's like, I wonder how far I can take this before somebody calls bullshit. Like, I wonder how far I can make this stupid until somebody says, no, this is stupid.
The Mangler's got a special place in my heart, bro.
All right, let's hear it.
Now, what was that a short story?
It was a short story, yes.
Wait, was it a short story?
It was a short story,
okay,
yes.
I thought it was a
short story. It was
novel.
not a full novel.
Okay.
Which collection was that one in?
That's a good question. I don't remember which collection it was. I forgot.
Because I've never read that. I would love to read that because I know half his stuff. I mean, so much of his stuff is better in the book, but The Mangler is just so bad. It's I have that on VHS, and it was all about. I'm like, dude, that's the guy from fucking Silence of the Lambs. That's Ted Levine. So I just love anything Ted Levine is in, and since he's in that, and he's like, wait, laundry machine is eating people. The Mangler's fun.
It puts the fabric softener in the load.
Oh wait, was that a big fat load? Was she a big
Dude, his actual voice sounds like somebody's making fun of Lorne Michaels. It's like halfway between his voice and Dr. Evil, and you're like, that's your real voice, isn't it?
Dude, he's great. So
it's fantastic.
He would come into the restaurant that I worked at all the time and order cranberry vodka, Sea Breeze or whatever that's called.
Yeah,
he couldn't be the nicest guy. He was super, super chill. And he owned a farm out in like Santa Margarita, which was about 30 miles from where I was living in California. So he would come in and the ones my uncle is actually friends with him. And when they would chit chat, he would always say, if you ever are hanging out with me and Ted, don't ever bring up Silence of the Lambs. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's not that he'll talk about it in like a professional setting where someone wants to discuss the work. He's like, but other than that, he does not want to hear anything about that movie or his character or anything. And I was like, good to know. And I think I can.
Yeah, he's probably been beaten over the head with it, like, you know, and I get it, like, you know, and I get that, you know, like, you know, there's so much you could talk about. Honestly, I'd rather talk to him about Heat than talk to him about, you know, Silence of the Lambs.
I would throw Evolution out there.
Oh God!
I'd be like, dude, you'd be like, oh yeah, I'd be like, dude, David Duchovny and you, right? I mean, hell yeah.
Represent, bro.
Like,
all right,
just like when I met Ernie Hudson at Monster Mania in 2006.
Nice.
And I was like, dude, Basketball Diaries, fucking Congo. And he's like, yeah. I mean, Ghostbusters too, but and I was like,
but it's like fucking what's his face the guy who played the original Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars
Alec McGinnis.
Alec Guinness like literally Alec Guinness like was asked for his autograph one time for a massive Star Wars fan, and he's like boy, like, I'll give you the autograph and everything else, but I would ask you to never mention Star Wars and go out and watch my other work and everything else, because he won an Academy Award like back in the 50s for Bridge on the River Kwai, and he's like, I do other shit, you know, like I know, like, he loves it. He loved Star Wars, you know, and he loved the character and everything else, but he's like, I have done other shit. Like, you know, like, yeah. I mean, like, you know, and then you get the opposite, which is like Donald Pleasance, who would have done, like, if he was still alive, he'd still be doing the Halloweens. Like, you know, like, he loved the Halloweens. Like, he would have kept.
I would have told him I loved him in Prince of Darkness, personally.
Nice. Yeah, that would have been cool. Or I would have been like, for Donald Pleasance, I would have been like one of the James Bonds, For Your Eyes Only. I would have been like, oh, I loved you as Blofeld.
Yeah. Shawnee Smith was at the same horror convention I went to, because I've only been to one, but I did as much as I could in that weekend and met as many people as I could. And she had like an entourage, because this was when Saw 2 or 3 was like popping. So she was super popular, and she had like an entourage walking with her, and she was walking past, and I just shouted, "Summer school was awesome!" And she just like turns around and just laughs and keeps walking. And I'm like, that was where I got the idea to tell Ernie Hudson, I really enjoy your non-horror films as well.
That's fucking dope. So speaking of which, on the topic, one of our famous questions that I kind of skipped was, when did horror enter your life? What were some of your earliest times, and when did this bloody journey of yours start?
So HBO and Cinemax in the mid to late 80s was all about playing those Freddy, Jason, Halloween, all those movies, man. And there's just so many movies popping out. So I think my first film I can straight up remember was Top Gun in the theaters. I was 4 years old, and I was bawling when Goose died. I vividly remember that. Side note, took my folks to go see Maverick, full circle again. It was great.
Fucking awesome movie. Awesome movie. Fucking fantastic. It was like seeing movies when I was a kid again.
Real quick, did you have a theater that had a 4D experience for that one?
I had the X screen.
Okay. So
the entire sides turn on and become the screen, so the only thing that's not the screen is directly behind you. So IMAX, not 4D, but pretty cool.
Real quick, the 4D experience for that movie was one of the best movie-going experiences of my life, because it's like at the beginning of the movie when they're playing like the Top Gun theme, like your seats move and everything like that. You have wind blasting in your face, and the seats are like slowly rising and everything. And every time the jets are flying, it's like you're on a fucking roller coaster. But one of the best. What's up?
Where do they have that theater?
Regal.
Is it?
Regal's, all the Regal theaters are the one that have it. At least most of them here in Chicago. But the best. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We have a Regal, but we don't have that, man.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I think they're going like down low, or they're starting to run low on business, so they might be going out. But one of the best experiences in that movie. So I saw that movie 3 times. The second time was with the 4D1. So the scene where Tom Cruise and what's her name are like on the boat, and it just cuts to that scene. It cuts to it out of nowhere. They have water jets. So as soon as it cuts to that scene, me and my 2 brothers just get splashed in the face with a jet of water, like out of nowhere. Like it was like a scary movie jump scare. Like it's just okay, scene. What the fuck?
It's just like a Disney ride.
How does seeing a horror film in that setting, how does that work?
So the first 4D movie we ever saw was A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place 2. And
that would have been interesting.
It's okay. It's better for action movies just because of the ride experience. Like they got fog machines, jet machines, like the seats moving, all that. For the horror machines, it's like if there's a fog section or something like that. Like they'll have fog machines shoot in front of the screen and shit like that. And anything with water, they'll do like little water splashes and stuff like that. But it's kind of an okay experience. You want to go for the action-packed movies that are just like a blockbuster, like Top Gun, made for that. Normally, I don't say go watch the Fast and the Furious movies because they're ridiculous, but with that, it's worth it. Sonic 2 was such a fun time because every time he's running, going nuts, we're just like, yeah! My brother, he's a big guy, so he's just slowly falling out of his seat. I'm like, holy shit!
Go into there and everything else, be like, I did it for the family.
That's awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to check out. I mean, I don't think we have one of those, but maybe we do. I mean, we have an IMAX Regal, so maybe it's there, and I just haven't. Yeah. I'm still new to the area, so
look up 4DX experience. That's what it would be. So if they have it, I fully recommend it. It is awesome, especially for action movies.
That was where we saw Terrifier 2. Like we actually got me and the manager of Blockbuster were like, later guys, and we just drove over to Regal. They had like, this is so sweet. But sorry, just let's go back to your question. I'm pretty sure Pumpkinhead when I was like 6. That was like my first legit. I sat there. My parents weren't around. I watched the whole thing. I fell in love with being scared at that point, and I think the movie that that really solidified it though was probably Pet Sematary in '89, because my folks would go to the neighbor's house and hang out all the time, and they just left. And it was nighttime. The door was open. The screen was like kind of banging, and I'm just sitting there in the living room watching fucking Zelda go like, Rachel. And I'm like shitting myself, man. I'm like, dude, what is this? This is so scary. And I loved it. And so yeah, I've just been kind of, and I'm a big Stephen King fan. I have a part of my upstairs is called King's Corner, and it's just got tons of King stuff. Yeah, we have the same birthday. And
nice.
I went to his house and did this in front of his house. The one that has like the bats on the.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. We've talked about a lot about Stephen King. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, we've made.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all there.
All there.
That prolific, you're gonna write some fucking garbage. Like I'm not a stand in that. I'll defend everything he's written. There's definitely a lot of bad stuff out
well, you
there,
know, it's crazy from a movie perspective. You know, to think about this. Like, Stephen King is responsible for The Shining, and he's responsible for Maximum Overdrive. Like, just think about the chasm that exists between those two.
Masterpieces in their own right.
Masterpiece. I have the best quote for I have the best quote for Maximum Overdrive, and you can say it to anybody. Maximum Overdrive is the movie equivalent of walking into a bar sober at 2 a.m.
The potential is there.
Literally. Yeah, like no, like literally, like be like walking in and seeing everybody fucking wasted and being like, I am not on this level, man. Like that's the movie equivalent of Maximum Overdrive.
It's one of those movies. Like I watched it as a kid, and it was sort of like, was that a fever dream? Was there a movie where there's like a truck with like a jester face and like
the Green Goblin?
It is literally the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. I don't know how they pulled that off without getting sued, but I remember when my buddy showed me the trailer because he was like, "We're going to show you a trailer that is so much better than the actual movie."
The trailer is so fucking funny. And they put it on,
and it's like I'm watching this trailer and I noticed two things. I'm like, one, was that the fucking Green Goblin face? And two, is that the theme from Halloween 3?
And number 3, how big are his fucking pupils right now? They were dilated as fuck. He was
coked out of his mind.
As fuck.
I can tell you how they got the Green Goblin, man. Licensing for comic shit in the 80s was fucking easy. I'm pretty sure Canon had Spider-Man.
Yes, Canon did have Spider-Man. They did the Japanese the Japanese one. They did the Japanese one.
Yeah, and they also did the Fantastic Four.
And I think they did Captain America as well.
Yeah, I actually just watched the Red Letter Media thing they did on Alex Pyong, and I love Cyborg, but I never heard of Arcade, and I kind of want to see this movie Arcade with a really young Seth Green. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. So you know, it's funny. Like, you know, I think I've asked this maybe once or twice, but is it, you know, starting out from your childhood, you said something interesting. You said, you know, I love being scared. You know, has the experience been diluted, you know, watching as many horror movies as you have? Like, you know, does it get to a point where you're too jaded? I know it's starting to get to me, like, where I'm like, hey, I mean, this is fun, like, but I'm not actually scared.
That's a great question. I would say I never get scared in movies anymore, probably since like my 20s, right? Like genuinely scared. But what I think that has morphed into is like disturbed and perturbed, and like this is making me feel very uncomfortable, and that is affecting. And so if I'm getting anything like that, it's good for me. So me and the Blockbuster manager have made a list. We went of like down the 10 most like gnarliest movies to watch. We've gotten through some of them. There was one called A Serbian Film. Have you guys seen that or heard of that?
I know I've heard of it, have not seen it.
Holy fuck. So it's not a horror film per se, but it's a movie where I could say I felt the most like I didn't want to turn it off, but I was like, dude, we're testing ourselves right now. We are definitely testing what we should take in with our fucking eyes and our brains. And I like that. I dug that. I thought it was good. It's like how far can you go? One that we both are hesitant to watch is Salo or 120 Days of Sodom. Have you guys heard of that one?
No, I never heard of that one. No.
So Poltergeist, Corey says he has it, and he's like, "Yeah, no big deal."
Of course he does.
Dude, Corey was a movie that he advertised last year that I gotta say, it was this Christmas horror movie with killer raccoons. I saw him posted. I'm like, that looks like the dumbest but funniest thing I've ever seen.
He watches more movies than anybody I know.
Oh,
personally,
absolutely.
or just know of. Like he knocks them out.
He finds shit that never should have saw the light of day. Like like the producers tried to he finds tax write-off movies. He find like the ones that are like, we need a tax write-off. Let's make this so fucking bad and then bury it in some Walmart bargain bin. I think he literally, I would love to walk into Walmart or whatever the Canadian version of that is, and he probably takes the fucking thing, dumps it, and then gets to the one that's at the very fucking bottom, and he's like, yeah, this is, like, the dude owns Chillology. The episode of the Goosebumps that's based on original work. It's arguably the worst thing. He owns Donnie Darko Part 2. The S Darko. He has it. Like I'm like why? Why do you own this?
Well, it doesn't help that people send him like Goosebumps shit all the time, including the Chillage. I think the last 2 times ago when he was on, he was just like, yeah, people have sent me this like 3 times now. It's getting a little ridiculous.
I sent him some Star Trek shit because he said he wanted to start getting into Star Trek, and I'm a huge Trekkie, so I sent him like this book and a DVD, I think, of First Contact or something. I don't know, but
it's honestly the best one of the best movies. So Zach is a Star Wars through and through. I grew up with both, literally at the same time. Like I was watching my dad was a part of the Paramount video club. They literally got the episodes of Next Gen on VHS, and then also at the same time, Star Wars was being remastered. The original 3 were being remastered, so I watched those almost like during a summer. My dad and I would pool, an episode of Star Trek, and I'd watch it. I always almost skipped all the ones. I almost always, as a kid, I'm like, I want to watch the holodeck ones because those are always the best ones for kids. But and then. At night, I probably during the day I would watch Star Trek, and then at night I would watch the original trilogy of Star Wars. So I would switch it. I grew up in a household that loved both. My grandfather also was a massive fan of the original series. So
my dad loved them both too, and he showed me he was all about Next Generation, man. We watched it all the time. And it's one. For any hotel you go to, you can usually find a fucking Star Trek episode.
Oh, dude, you're gonna get a kick out of this. So when I was growing up in the 90s, we had an ugly green couch that we used to sit on, and my dad had a black box, if you remember those, to get whatever thing free. And we used to eat frozen Reese's and watch Star Trek Next Gen, Zenith Princess Warrior, and Hercules the series. That was my childhood, and this is the reason why I'm the nerd that I am. Every time my dad's, I start talking about movies and shit and being nerdy, I'm like, this is your fucking fault. This is your fault. This is the reason why I'm a nerd. You got me into all this shit this early.
Have you ever heard of a film called My Science Project?
No.
Okay, it's got hackers. You seen the movie Hackers?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Fisher Stevens, the guy that plays the Plague.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Fisher Stevens. He's also in Short Circuit. He's like the Arab guy.
God.
Yeah.
Johnny fucking Five.
So my science project was we went from Star Trek to a Star Wars to boom, My Science Project. And it's about this guy, this high school kid who finds a device in a abandoned, what is it called? A graveyard for old Navy ship or Navy planes and stuff. A graveyard of that sort.
It's a shipyard. Shipyard. A military graveyard.
Yeah, military shipyard. Totally. So this guy takes a date, and he's like a musclehead. He's a car guy. So he's his idea of a good time is to go check these places out. And he falls into some bunker thing and pulls out this device that has one of those little lightning balls that you touch it in the middle, and it it touches your fingers, and it starts warping space time around him and turns his school into fucking Vietnam, dinosaurs, aliens from like guys that straight up look like Klingons that have like ripped off batleths type shit. It's a fucking awesome movie. You should totally see it. Just because you said you and your dad in Star Wars or Star Trek, whenever someone relates in that way to me, I'm like, dude, my science project was like always next in line with our thing. So you might.
And I grew up watching, I think one of the first, and I grew up watching Die Hard and sneaking in Die Hard when I was really young and watching Blues Brothers and my dad's favorite, actually, ironically enough, my dad's favorite horror, he's not the biggest horror movie fan. He enjoys them, but like he enjoys movies as a whole. He knows more about movies than I do, and that's fucking saying. I've been tossed out of 3 separate movie contests. Like I've been asked not to participate. They and my family, like literally, like they're like you're not allowed to play. They so
dude, you should do the Schmodown.
The the what?
The Joe Schmodown. It's like it's a YouTube channel. It was part of Screen Junkies back in the day, but now it's a separate thing. And they have people from all over the country show up and they bro down on movie knowledge. Dude,
I think that would be really cool. I'll look it up afterwards. But his favorite horror movie though is actually Tremors. It's a remote drop movie for him. He cannot. He's like they're so stupid. I love it. I cannot not watch it. And I'm like, you need to see part 2 because part 2 is amazing too.
Dude, one of these days we gotta just sit him down and be like, "You're gonna love this shit. Just watch." And
Bert's amazing.
Bert is the man.
Bert is the man. That's the dad from the hippie dad from Family Ties, and then he becomes a crazy Arizona redneck.
It's such a contrast.
Arrow has an amazing Tremors release. Have you seen that?
I own it.
4K?
I own it. It's fucking great, man.
It looks beautiful too. It's so nice. I love the covers.
Yeah, dude. I wish they would do part 2. Part 2 is my favorite. Like when it comes to the Tremors movies, 1, 2, and 3 are kind of where I go. The 4th one, I don't mind. Everything after that, I'm like, I'm just kind of done with this.
What you said is exactly verbatim how I feel about the Hellraiser series. 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
And then 4, like, it's, I like how they do a little backstory of the limited configuration. Yep. But then after that,
dude, same. Fucking exact same thing. That's hilarious. So, all right, quick question. Years ago, many years ago, probably like 5, 6, 7, give or take 50 feet. I don't know. Somebody cut together, because did you hear the story of how 4 got fucked to hell by the producers?
Yeah. And it's not even, isn't it directed by like the fake name and shit?
Yeah, Alan Smithy.
Yeah.
Yep. So someone managed to I don't know how, old video footage and like splice it together, and you could see that it's like this was just like, how the hell did he find this and restore this? And try to splice together the original cut that actually went from the olden days linear all the way up to like where it was because it was supposed to start from Le Machant, like creating the box, and it was going to end at the space station. Like you were going to see that whole space Hellraiser bit until the end of the movie versus where they started it and go back. Yeah, and it was going to go like things were going to go very differently, and it was a lot cooler too.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. Would have been, but it got fucked.
Star Trek tie into Hellraiser, Jadzia Dax in part 3.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And then also too is I grew up, with Starship Troopers as well.
Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know more?
I just got the 4K steelbook of that has all the skulls on the bottom. Have you seen that?
Where?
Hold on.
We're going on a field trip. We're going on a field trip. This
is my office, and it's hidden with a bookshelf.
Ah, nice.
Okay. That is fucking sick.
Oh, wait, actually, hold on. Are we good? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right, guys. It's actually just right over here. So I'm just walking through my pad real quick. It is. Look at that thing.
Dude, that is fucking awesome.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Where were they selling this?
Look at the back of it. It's got the big beetle thing shooting fire.
Oh.
Dude, were they selling this on Amazon or is this an Arrow release or?
I got this from Best Buy.
Oh, it's one of the Best Buy exclusives. Damn it!
I know.
I just never go to Best Buy anymore. That's why.
I will find that.
I don't either. But it's like do I get something on Amazon? Sorry, do I get something on Amazon, or do I like support the local Best Buy still? I mean, it's still local in that sense. Like I don't know.
It's
you know,
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
The ethic of finding movies is getting hard for me. Like
for me, there's just no Best Buys nearby. Like I'm in the city of Chicago, Rogers Park, and there's just no one like near me. The closest one to me is like an hour fucking like ride via transportation or something like that, or God forbid a $40 fucking Uber. I'm like, just no, I Ubers, I fucking hate them.
And by the way, too, just we were talking about that with the different series and everything else. Switch 3 and 4 for me, and that's the Scream series. The Scream 1's amazing. Scream 2 is really, really good. Scream 3 is the best comedy I've ever seen.
It's the best Scream ever made.
and 4 is actually pretty dope. I have not had the time nor the necessarily courage to go see the newest Scream.
I haven't seen it either, dude. Every time I'm putting movies away on the shelf, I walk past it and I go, "Hi." Like, should I take you home tonight? I'm like, no.
No. Dude, it's one of these things. It's the Wes Craven thing, man. Oh, I think, it's.
Oh,
yeah. There we go. We got you.
Sorry, guys. It's. I don't know, man. When it comes to like remakes and stuff, and I don't know, like, do you guys want like another Jason? Like, I'm kind of stoked that Art the Clown is becoming. There's a new fucking horror icon out there.
Well, yeah.
How cool is that?
We need a new one. Well, you know what the thing is too is, and I've brought this up in many different things. It's kind of crazy. Horror is the last line of defense against the decaying culture.
Yeah.
This
is the truth. It's a crazy thing.
And I'll say this when it comes to like, do we want a new Jason? There are so many great fan films out there. We don't need another Jason. The fan community's taking care of it. Let's actually get some, new stuff like Terrifier. That's the only good new slasher to come out. And
like you were saying.
I don't know. Like, it's really the only one.
They did Leatherface on Netflix. Yeah, okay. I like the intestines flopping up the butts. That was cool.
Yeah, how many times have we gotten the true sequel to the original Texas? I think there's
every horror fan watched
sequels, dude. I'm over it.
Every horror fan watched that remake of Leatherface for one scene. And one scene fucking only, and it was in the goddamn trailer. And you know what fucking scene I'm talking about? The one where they're on the bus, try anything, and you'll get canceled. Everybody fucking that's the only reason anybody and that. By the way, whoever cut that trailer and they put that in the trailer is a genius. Because everybody's like, oh,
definitely.
Gen Z getting smacked in the face by a real horror icon is quite fucking priceless.
I like the end too, how the car was driving itself and she had to watch her sister get her head chopped off. That was a cool ending.
Fair enough. It's just it gets redundant. Like it gets redundant, and also too is there's a lot of other characters I would love to see come back that haven't gotten a shot or gotten a true sequel. I would have loved to have saw a sequel back in the day for My Bloody Valentine. That would have been cool too, but it ended up just being a shitty remake.
I hear that's actually happening with the original creator as well. Not sure if it's true, but I heard something. What's up?
It was pretty brutal, if I remember correctly, right? The new My Bloody Valentine?
I haven't seen the remake. I finally watched the original not too long ago, actually, because my buddy really highly recommended it. Always wanted to watch it, just never got around to it. But I remember me and him were talking, and he had heard somewhere that a sequel is finally happening.
The sequel to the 2009 reboot? Or
no, the original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're doing. Okay, wow, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies like that I have to thank Shudder for finally putting all in one spot. Like I saw Blood Rage, and I've never seen Blood Rage before, and I'm like, dude, I got a Thanksgiving horror film now. That's fucking sweet.
There's fucking 2, and the other one I can't stand. I can't stand Thanksgiving. It gives me a headache. There needs to be more horror movies in Thanksgiving. Actually, there needs to be more movies in general for Thanksgiving, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Hey, I noticed the Bioshock poster back there. What are your thoughts on well, obviously
If you're about to ask about the new game, he doesn't watch Game Awards or anything like that, so he has no idea.
No, I know about the new game coming out, but I know what you're about to ask. But go ahead and ask it.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm really stoked about his new game. I don't care that there's a lot of people that are like, dude, it's just Bioshock. Good. You have 20 fucking Call of Duty games. Give me a spiritual successor to Bioshock by the guy who made it any fucking day. Let him do what he does good. I want this game. 2, Netflix.
All right. Let's talk about it for just a second. This is a very topical topic. So let's talk about this for a second. In the history of video game movies, there's been 2 fucking good video game movies. So that already has it working against it. It's Mortal Kombat and Sonic. That's it. There's everything else is hot garbage, and in most cases is created to be hot garbage, like fucking Blood Rain and that crazy German director that makes Bad for Bad. The dude's fucking crazy, but so them and HBO are the only ones that have the money to actually do it justice. But I'm cautiously optimistic because this is, you got to understand like the rage I had when Max Payne came out. Max Payne is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm a big story guy for video games. I love story elements of video games. Max Payne has a phenomenal story. 1, 2, and 3 all have fantastic stories. It's ripped straight out of a Frank Miller fever dream. And I love it. And man, did they fuck it up. The movie was a fucking dumpster fire, and I still have issues about it. I still have rage about it. And now you're about to approach literally one of my favorite video games of all time. Arguably one of the best stories. I say one of the best because there are some phenomenal stories out there that deserve their day. Zach has introduced me to them. But from a story perspective, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Arguably the best, man. You're right.
Arguably the best story ever created for a video game. I've never had an existential fucking crisis in playing a video game. So you're approaching dangerous territory with a fan base that is very loyal to it, very, very loyal to it, and especially the original Bioshock and 2 and parts of 2. 3 is a controversy and a discussion for another day, but you have very specific fans for this, and it's again one of the best stories ever. You have a monumental task ahead of you, Netflix, and do not fuck it up. Because you will feel that wrath.
Would you say Resident Evil has a pretty strong fan base?
Yes,
Here's the problem with Resident Evil. We've been burned so many goddamn times before. It's a joke at this point. I mean, look at the movies that have come out.
Look at what they did to Resident Evil, though. Netflix didn't really. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think they did a good job with it.
No. Me and my buddy, so I remember seeing the trailer for that show. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it just is like kind of, it doesn't bode well for Bioshock if they can't.
Yeah.
I mean, all they had to do was make Resident Evil 1. All they had to do was make a mansion, make a team go in, make them find some zombies. That's all they had to do to please people. They couldn't even do that.
They could have done that, or they could have done Resident Evil 2. Anyone would have been fine with Resident Evil 1 or 2. But Resident Evil 1 would have been the preferred choice. You want to start at the beginning.
And simple.
Yeah.
And simple.
Here's the thing I've noticed with Netflix. Anything that it isn't created by a Japanese or Korean creator usually sucks. At least what I've noticed with Netflix. So the Cyberpunk show, I fucking love that show. Was made in Japan, Japanese anime or whatever. All their live action Korean horror shows, like what the hell was not Squid Games. I didn't watch that one, but there was.
I didn't watch it either.
There was one with like a card game, like you're essentially in like one of those like trap rooms, and there's like cards involved.
Anyway.
I forgot what the hell it was called. There was one where monsters just come in out of nowhere and start invading. And Hellbound, where Hellbound is my favorite one. So the premise of this one is supposedly an angel will come to you and tell you you're gonna be dragged to hell on this day, and then these 3 demons will come and beat the ever-loving shit out of you in public and burn your ass into hell. And it just makes the world go completely religious zealot insane. And it's like, whoa, this was fucking good. I never cared for The Witcher, so I didn't watch that. But Resident Evil 1, me and my brothers, we're big Resident Evil fans, and we watched the first 15 minutes and we're like, nope. We're not wasting our time. We're not giving them the views. Just hard no. And I knew from the trailer that this was going to be a fucking dumpster fire. So I'm like, no, I have no faith in Netflix. If this was going to HBO, I would have a little bit of faith. But even then, I'd still like, I don't know. They're going to take too many creative liberties and do whatever the fuck they want. Because there's a trend in Hollywood where it's just like, oh, the story's laid out for us and we have 30 plus years of history to go on. But fuck you. We're going to do what we want because you suck.
Have you guys heard of a movie Censor?
No, never did.
I think it's on Shudder. It's a really good modern, super twisty horror film. This chick in the 80s is in England, and she's in charge of overseeing the movies that they're going to deem are the video nasties. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, no, of course I know the video nasties. Yep.
Okay, so she's like, over time, like she's just watching these movies over, and she's like, yeah, this, it's kind of affecting her, right? It's making her kind of like upset, and then she's kind of getting depressed or whatever, and she sees one video where a girl that she thinks is her sister who died is in this horror film, and she starts kind of like, what the fuck? And so she's like talking to her parents, and she's like, it alludes to like her sister did something or that she was responsible for her sister's death, but they don't really allude to what. And she just starts kind of going psycho. In the end is this like forest setting where they're shooting a movie with fucking all this garish lighting everywhere, and she's in a flowing thing of white with this huge fucking axe, and it goes psycho, and it's great, but it's a slow burn. It's definitely, I don't want to say it's A24-ish, but it's A24-ish. But it's, yeah, check it out.
Zach does not like A24 at all.
I fucking hate
hate.
That's okay. There's probably like one or two that you might like that you didn't know were A24, right? I mean,
no, there's actually okay, so there's a total of two. One could barely be considered A24, but they managed to get their name thrown on it. The first one, it is A24, Ex Machina. I really did enjoy that movie. I thought it was a legitimate good movie.
Great movie.
And the second one, oh yeah, it actually had a story, which I thought was amazing. It was actually my first A24 movie, so I thought that was a standard. I was horribly wrong.
Too.
Yep.
Mine too.
A lot of people.
So misleading. And the second one was The Disaster Artist. But that movie had the involvement of so many different studios and companies that I barely consider that A24. All the rest of them burn in hell.
So no Midsummer for you.
I fucking hate.
I hate that movie.
That movie with a bloody passion.
No Hereditary for you.
No. But
Hereditary, Midsummer, Ghost Story, It Comes at Night, Witch, all of them can burn in hell.
What about Everything Everywhere All at Once? Wasn't that A24?
I have no idea.
No, I've never seen that one.
Nor do I think I want to.
I just think from a horror perspective, like it becomes like that robot thing that you just did, like that joke you cracked. It becomes like that, or like that Family Guy sketch, literally where he's watching Breaking Bad and like the TV switches to a hypnotizing thing. Tell all your friends that the Breaking Bad is the best show that you have ever seen. Only close to The Wire. It is almost good as The Wire. Like it's like like some people become hypnotized by it, and I'm like, and I love movies that have metaphors and symbolism. Like, I mean, there's great Japanese and Italian movies that have great, and Del Toro and all the great things. But sometimes it just seems metaphor for the sake of metaphor, for the sake of metaphor, for the sake of metaphor. It's not a story. It's just metaphors stringed together.
I have to agree. A movie that I was I want to say disappointed because I still thought the movie was well made. I thought I liked a lot about it was Men. Did you see Men?
I did not see Men. No.
So same writer director for Ex Machina, Alex Garland. He wrote 20 Days Later and all these great movies. The Beach.
Sure.
This movie was metaphor upon metaphor upon metaphor to the point where your message is so out in the open, but it's also so muddled that, in my opinion, it does not work. I would watch Men though, because it is a fucking crazy, well-made movie, and it is very weird and disturbing. That the very last scenes where this dude is giving birth to himself over and over and over again. And I say that because I want you to know that is what fucking happens at the end of this movie. And there's just it's metaphor like galore about all this shit about the toxic things about men. And yes, there are some toxic things about men and women, and we can
people
those things. Yeah, toxic things about people, but it was, I don't know. It was definitely his most divisive film. Nothing like The Beach, nothing like 28 Days Later, nothing like Sunshine.
Yeah, no,
like it at least sounds interesting.
It sounds interesting. I'll check it out. Hey,
it is like I mean I try and see a lot of these movies that maybe I'm such a horror film guy and like scary sci-fi guy. I try and step out sometimes. I'm like, I think I just watched too much scary shit. Like I need to like watch a Queer Eye for the Street. Something with
a little sunshine. The
yeah, I mean, give me some levity, you know, a little bit. That one wasn't necessarily one, but that was one where I was like, it's not horror, but I'll just go see what it's about.
That's awesome. So hey, I did want to ask two questions. One, and we can ask them separately. One, any crazy stories from working at Blockbuster, and also two is, how did you meet Corey and how did that relationship start? Because I want to hear that. And actually, I want to hear that first. I want to hear more about you and Corey and how this dynamic duo kind of came to be. Because he loves you. He talked all about you, and he's like, dude, you got to have him on, and like he's an awesome dude. And yeah, dude, like, he's been on there like what, 4 times or 3 times? It was his hat trick.
3
times, 3 separate times he's been on the podcast. Yeah. Like, and we talked about children's horror in one of them, and we had a fucking ball. We were rolling, like talking about Goosebumps and one of the other shows that Zach watched that Ron Jeremy was in. And we just rolled. So I want to hear how that started with you guys.
So yeah, it's actually pretty simple. What was funny is I've actually never really even talked to Corey.
Really?
I think I talked to him on the phone one time for like 10 seconds. So I was just scrolling through Instagram and I came across the Tall Man video.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, sick. And I'm like, oh, damn. I was like, this dude raps hella good. And I definitely like rap. I'm very selective just because I don't know. There's just like certain things about production and the way people's flow go. I'm just kind of very selective with what artists I like that do that kind of music. And I just really liked his style. And I liked that song. And I liked how the lyrics were there. And everything about that video was like, I just watched the whole thing going, oh, sweet. There's a rapper out there. He's rapping about horror films. And that was when I first started dabbling in electronic music. I just started. I played guitar for like 30 years, but I just like, I don't know. I've always been into keyboards and stuff. So I had some beats on SoundCloud under Squibb, and it was just blank tracks. And I sent him a message and I said, hey man, I don't really, work with any artists or anything, but I really like your style. And if you like any of my beats, you can have them and make some stuff out of them, because that'd be really cool. I'd like to hear some rap over my beats. And so he had picked out the song that I think became Pegasus. He picked out that track.
Okay, cool.
And it starts off, it's like meow 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 down 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 meow down. And so he wrote some lyrics to it and he put it on. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. I was like, maybe I could make one that's specific for a horror movie, because I'm really into horror films too. And he's like, sure, go for it. So I kind of just picked a movie and picked a few sound bites from it. And then I just sort of tried to watch the movie and I sort of think about the mood and the vibe it gives me, and maybe even try and pick out a note or two in the key of like some of the original score and just kind of make the songs to it. And then I send it to him, and he pretty much liked everyone that I gave him, and I give him little notes here, but this was all like typey. Like he said he doesn't like to talk on the phone. So I was like, I respect that. So I've just like I've never talked to him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so now we have like 6 songs I think we've done together, and that's cool.
And out of curiosity, are you the one who's doing the beat for Chud?
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know, because I've given him 2 beats, and he said one of them is going to be for actual OD, Obscene Division. So there's going to be other rappers on it, and then he's got one that I made for it's called Of the Dead, so it'll be just a Romero type song.
Nice
or zombie song. And then I think there's a third one I gave him, so if he's turned that one into Chud, that might be it. But that's what I mean, I don't really even talk to the guy that much.
Which ones have you done the beats for?
So I've done the beats for Pegasus, Leatherface,
Nice.
Scream.
Oh, nice. Great job on Scream.
Thank you. The Frighteners, Pumpkinhead, and there's one more in there, I think.
Pumpkinhead makes sense for you to have been on the and dude, it was good, man. I really enjoyed Pumpkinhead, man. Like I thought it was dope.
Pumpkinhead's like just a real kind of quiet, and then like kind of in the middle there, it fucking hits really hard with the synth there and kind of blows the fucking speakers up,
dude. Like oh my god, dude. You can't escape Pumpkinhead. I'm like, dude, it's a solid fuck. And I enjoyed Scream too as well. Like Scream was really good. I think he sent me that early, actually. Like, he's like, dude, check it out. Like, I know it's one of your favorites. Like,
I dug his the line on the Leatherface one where he's like, the Sauce family, and I think it's time you two should meet. And he spells it MEAT on the lyrics. The shit's tight.
The Frightener one, man, was really cool. We really enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah.
That.
No love, like as far as merch or anything. I'm talking to the guys at Creeporama, and they said they're working on it. So, like, dude, I would buy any kind of cool long sleeve of Frighteners, man. I love that movie.
Yeah, the movie's fucking wild, dude.
Or any old school Peter.
Oh yeah, dude. Any old school, Alive, Dead Alive, and and all the other crazy fucking movies. So hey, I wanted to ask you too, real quick, and this will kind of lead into like the last. I do a question in the podcast. We'll do it right after this, but I want to hear if there's any crazy fun stories that you have from working at the last Blockbuster. Anything that was surprising or anything that you caught or anything like fun that you wanted to share, any fun stories?
Yeah, sure. So I think probably so far the coolest thing was when Ice Nine Kills came in.
Oh shit.
Nice.
So I had actually never heard of them until maybe a few months before I moved up to Oregon.
Nice.
So I'd seen that video of them with the Chucky doll.
Yeah.
And and so they came in, and I was like, the lead guy, I forgot his name, Spencer, right? Singer's name Spencer, yeah. And so he's like, hey, is it cool if like we take some pictures and videos, like we're in a band, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. And he's like, all right. And he kind of like, he was kind of like looking at me like, do you want to talk or anything? And I was like, what band are you in? He's like, we're in Ice Nine Kills. And I was like, yeah. I know you guys, but I didn't want to say, I just heard of you guys. So I was like, yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, with the Chucky doll. He's like, yeah. So that was really cool. And he actually gave me his number. We kind of text back and forth about movies and stuff a little bit. So that's pretty sweet. And I'm trying to think. So you guys know Mario Lopez, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So he has like a morning show where they, he and a girl sit on a couch and they discuss pop shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Our manager Dan had to take an interview with him on the phone. So I'm sitting there putting movies away, and the manager is just sitting there. This guy is like, I mean, we're super cool, and like when we're at his house and stuff, we like to just chill out and watch movies and have a good time. So it's just funny hearing this guy go, yeah, Blockbuster's been around for da 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 da. And I'm hearing Mario Lopez like on the call, and the Zoom call on the other end, fucking straight AC Slater from Saved by the Bell go, well, that's really cool, Dan. Like the lady next to him was like, oh, I remember because we used to get movies, and they'd be like, yeah, totally. It's just like all this like fake kind of like jibber jabber on the couch, and it's just kind of surreal to hear this going. This like an interview that you would see on TV, but like I'm in the room with the guy, and I'm like, this is fucking weird.
See, you're nicer than me, man. If it was Zach like on the interview, I would have been fucking with him. I would have been like, I would have been doing some like crazy shit, dude, just to fuck with him.
I'm the weirdest guy at Blockbuster, and it takes every ounce of like everything I have to be as normal as I can. I slowly my personality to these kids over the months and stuff, because I couldn't just go, bam, here's me. I'm fucking like manic, and I'm weird, and I love horror. And
you couldn't Gen Z you couldn't Generation X all over them. Like it might be a little too much for their very tender Gen Z hearts to handle. So yeah, no, I fucking love that, dude. So hey, I do want to wrap this up and do a question of the podcast. About this. So the I'm trying to think
like what's the most surprising movie you have ever rented from a Blockbuster?
That's perfect. Perfect. He
most
saved my ass.
surprising movie.
Yeah, like you're browsing through the shelves and you see that glowing movie and you're just like, huh, I'ma rent that.
Oh.
Yoink.
I got you. So there's a movie called Piercing, and it's got the actress. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but it's her. She was in Crimson Peak, and she played Alice in the new Alice in Wonderland movies. Mia Wasikowska. I don't know how you say her last name, but so yeah. So it's her. And have you guys seen Possessor?
No.
Was that
Brandon
the one
Cronenberg?
with the Jewish demon in the box, or am I thinking of a different one?
No, this is Brandon Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son, and it's a movie about the chick who plays Mandy. She's like an assassin who goes into people's brains and makes them do the kill.
Oh no, I have not seen
No,
that.
I
But
must
that
have missed
sounds
that one.
interesting.
Dude, Possessor's in my employee picks. It's
Okay.
fucking amazing. His new movie, Brandon Cronenberg's new movie, is coming out. It's got Skarsgård and Mia Goth in it, and it looks fucking bizarre. Same director, looks awesome. But
All
anyways, so the girl, Mia Wasikowska, I saw her and the guy from Possessor. They're both on the cover of this movie, and it's just called Piercing, and it has like a bra and an ice pick on it. And I'm like, fucking taking it home. And it's about it's a movie about two people who find out they get off on being stabbed. And I don't want to ruin it.
All right, Zach, it's your turn.
Well, here's a small little plot. This guy is very high-end, high-rise apartment with a hot fiance type business guy, Wall Street dude, sets up this briefcase, blah, 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 and is narrating that he's leaving his wife for the weekend because he wants to go kill someone. So he sets up into an apartment, hires a hooker. He's going to kill this hooker. But they find out that they get off on being stabbed.
All right. Well, I'll be checking this movie out later.
This is why I had to slowly introduce my personality to these kids at work.
Yeah,
No, that's fine.
No, that's fine.
fine.
Hey, rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
You guys should watch this.
All right. So off the top of my head, granted, this isn't a Blockbuster rental. This is a Hollywood Video rental. But it's a Japanese horror movie, horror action movie. It's a movie called Zaram. Essentially, I was walking through as a kid, and I saw this cover, and it was just like this Japanese girl in like this space like combat uniform or whatever. And behind her, there's like these three alien-looking demons that kind of look like a combination of a xenomorph queen with a skeleton. It was interesting. So there's like three different variants of this thing. So I read the movie and I'm just like, all right, this is cool. And essentially she's about a space bounty hunter, and the creature is like this intergalactic badass that's just like one of the galaxy's most wanted like alien creatures. And for some reason it comes to Earth and she traps it in this virtual reality dome, and she has to essentially kill the thing 3 times because every time she kills it, it morphs into this new form. So it starts off as like this hulking tank of a creature, and then it goes into like this skinny, bony, slimy creature. And then it kind of goes into like this UFO-shaped head that morphs into another creature, and you're like, holy shit, this is fucking cool!
Morphs into another creature!
Well,
It's just like layers
it's very
of just
Japanese.
awesome alien space bounty hunter badassery. And it's such a great movie, and no one I've ever met has ever heard of it. I'm like, well, that's a shame.
Here, I'm writing it down. What's it called again? Starts with an S?
No, a Z. Zaram or something like that. It's either Z-I-R-A-M or Z-E-I-R-A-M. Something like that.
Dope. And then I think mine is a tie between. And by the way, I found these. I attempted to. Because my mom had the Blockbuster card, so I had to go through her for approval. And there's 2 movies that I didn't get approval for, but I watched later. Were Species and Ghost Ship.
Oh, Hinstridge and Species, and I just fucking watched Ghost Ship 2 nights ago because I got the Scream Factory one. Love it.
Dude, it is one of those movies that starts out as one movie and then ends as a completely different movie. But both movies I love. Like, I thought it was gonna be very like that opening scene like makes it feel like it's gonna be like The Shining and very like of that like kind of like really like that stylistic like a little bit of like an American Giallo type of thing, and you're like and then it goes and turns into a fucking B horror movie real fast.
And then it starts off with, like you said, The Shining, and then they play Mudvayne.
Yeah, dude, and the fucking sailor is like meddling out like while he's riding the waves, and I'm like, did they steal a deleted scene from The Perfect Storm? It was such a dude, and also too like the plot. It's so convoluted, it's good. That literally a demon is stealing souls that should have never been gone to hell. And he's harboring them to actually send them to hell, but they're not supposed to go to hell. At least not all of them. Most of them are innocent souls.
Right.
And he's fucking around.
He has to mark. Yeah, he marks like the bad people, but then all the innocent people are still trapped there. But he's also using gold to do it.
Exactly. He's using gold to agree. And like I do love the ending though. Like I do love the ending. Like when, when she's in the ambulance and then he sees the fucking like the crates going up into them, and then he just turns and you're like fuck.
Yeah,
and she's like no. And then Monday plays.
I really need to rewatch this movie. I haven't seen it since I first saw it as a kid.
It's so fucking like it's good and then it's cheesy and then it's good and then it's cheesy again and it's just a blast.
But a movie that me and my dad stumbled upon late night. We were watching flicks, and we stumbled upon right at the beginning. We watched the whole thing, and it was fucking crazy. Was Ichi the Killer?
I heard of it, never seen it.
Wow, Ichi the Killer is fucking crazy. It's just about a gangster trying to find his boss who's been killed by another guy, but the guy who killed him is like this psycho, and the guy who's looking for him is a fucking psycho who like keeps his mouth put together here with these two rings because he has these huge cuts that go this way and he has these two rings. So because when he fights, he takes them off. So when you fucking punch him, your hand goes into his mouth and he just goes.
God, that's fucking awesome.
It's weird. It's got some weird psychosexual shit in it too. It was uncomfortable.
That's awesome, dude. So thank you so much, man. This is your opportunity to look directly into the camera and to let the good people know where they can find you as a producer on all your social medias, and then also if you want to plug the last Blockbuster, you're more than welcome in any of their social medias too. So the floor is yours, sir.
Awesome. All right, hey, this is Squibb, aka Ian, and you can check out my album on Bandcamp, Spotify. I'm actually releasing a new one pretty soon within the next couple months, another 4-track EP. So check out Bandcamp, Squibb. YouTube is Squibb Sounds. There's a video on there with 70,000 likes, so go check that one out. Or 70,000 views, I should say, not likes. So go and give that one some love. Check out Poltergeist OD's music because I work with him a lot. So go follow that guy if you don't. And if you're ever in Bend, come check out the last Blockbuster and come say hi and buy some merch. It helps keeps the store open.
Absolutely.
T-shirts is like 20. T-shirts like 20 rentals. So come buy a shirt.
It's fucking awesome, man. That's awesome. So hey, and I'll close this thing out for us as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll just say thank you for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, you're good, man. I'm gonna close it out real quick. You're awesome. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Nightmares Podcast. You can find us where all podcasts are available: Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, all that great stuff. And if you are watching us on YouTube, if you could be so awesome to stab that like button, smash that subscribe, and click that little dingy bell to be notified every time we drop amazing content right here on MHN. And of course, you can find us on all of our great social medias: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and the social media for all things horror. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on the Nightmares Podcast. Bye, guys.
Peace.